which somehow is there. The pattern is not right. That produces the tumor by the power of mind, and by the same power that can be removed. Don't forget that. By the same power that can be removed. And so it is not always the God-guided force that projects or materializes the pattern. Sometimes it's that thing called the devil or Satan. But, nevertheless, the law is the same. And as that thing is produced, it can also be changed by the same law under the direction of God contact. Now I have another illustration. It's a personal illustration, but it shows definitely how matter can be changed, or how the effect produced on matter can be inhibited. It is a personal illustration. I hope you'll pardon me, but it was right close to me, and so I can tell it nicely, I hope. One time at Mount Washington, somehow these three fingers got caught. I won't say who closed the door. These three fingers were caught in the door jamb of a Cadillac, one of the older models, when they fitted nice and close. And these three fingers were just the shape, when I got them out of there, of that door jamb. Right flat. Right crushed like that. Well, of course, at first the pain was terrific. But then somehow Mrs. Lewis got hold of the master. He was in the car. He'd just stepped out and gone inside the building. And from that moment on, I felt just as if there was a wall between my consciousness and the fingers. In other words, the pattern in the mind was shut off. That surely would have formed a beautiful pattern in my mind of injury. But that wall was there. I could feel it. By his power, the master put that wall between the injury and the rest of my consciousness. And I would come down and I'd come through that wall, and I soon went back because the pain was terrific. And so it was not only the physical pain but the mental pain. I felt sure that I would have to be hospitalized, and I was leaving next day for Boston. How could I do it? That everything was a mess as far as the pattern in my mind was concerned. But the master controlled that pattern. And that night we even went to the Hollywood Bowl to some sort of a performance. The only thing I remember keeping the hand in the coat. I was afraid somebody would rub against it. But still, my mind kept away from it. The next morning, I came down to breakfast. I had the hand, of course I had it with me. I had it in here. The master never said a word. He wouldn't look at it. I said, all right, suits me. Everything is fine as long as it stays that way. That night we left for Boston. Still that wall was there. In the morning, on the next day, we went to breakfast, and then I just kind of carefully peeked at it. They were there, perfect. Just two little blue marks on the back. So you see, that's a personal illustration. Almost instantaneous change of matter by the power of mind to prevent that pattern forming that would cause me much difficulty as well as pain, both physical and mental. And so there you have three illustrations of a strong mind and its possibility. Mind coupled with God's power and consciousness can do anything. It has produced our body, therefore it can change it. Now going on just a minute or two about the metaphysics of how mind changes matter. The body, as I have said, is produced by thought. And in the producing of the body, there are two kinds of cells that work. The germ cells, which are active, which follow and pattern as it should be. Now these germ cells become lazy after a while, and they change to somatic cells, or cells that are resting. And that's why the body changes. Ordinarily, the germ cells keep the body as it should be, in its normal state, according to the cycle of life. But many times you see that the body changes considerably. Why? Because the germ cells have laid down on the job. They've become somatic cells. And therefore, matter changes. Now, a strong mind can make those somatic cells again get active, become active as germ cells. Now, when this happens, then instead of prematurely growing old, we stay practically the same, gradually growing old gracefully. You've seen some people that are that way. They seem young all the time. Others seem old. Why? Because the pattern in the mind has changed, and the cells are not acting as they should. But a strong mind can absolutely make those cells pick up again and keep your body as it should be. One other thing, fear inhibits the action of the mind in changing matter.